You made it first. Good morning. How are you guys doing? Today is St. Patrick's Day, and I see some of you actually have some green on. And it's the season, though, of Lent, so I don't really have any green on, but that's okay. I'm not very much Irish. According to 23andMe, I'm like a tiny bit. Well, it's a little. It's really not. It's just tiny green. I just have a little. These guys are a little more green than I am. But we're going to talk about St. Patrick in just a little bit. But before, I was hoping, was anybody listening to the gospel? How about anybody out there? Is anybody listening? Okay. Have any of you either had or currently have a hen house? Will you raise your hand? Anybody? There we go. Now, if you know anything about foxes, you know that unfortunately they have an appetite for chickens. So if you have a hen house, you got to keep the fox out, don't you? Now, does anybody here want to guess how do you think you keep a fox out of a chicken coop? Yes. You got to put some kind of fencing around it, right? He's heavy duty, barbed wire. Man, you're tough. All right. Well, usually you got this chicken wire, is what they call it, but a chicken coop and a hen house are the exact same thing. So what I want to do today is I want to emulate a hen. So I'm going to have you guys come down here with me for a second. Come on down. And we're going to all get right out in here. If you all come here together, and you just smush. And can you see up there? So I want you to come in closer, 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 closer. This is the one time. Just don't suffocate each other. Right? Closer, closer. Okay, the youth group needs to teach these kids how to play sardines. Closer. Closer! There you go. Now, can you see that? That is a hen. And what do you think is peeking out of there? Little chicks, right? So, if the fox gets in, first thing the hen will try to do is protect her chicks. So, I'm going to pretend like I'm a hen, and imagine these are wings. So, she goes like this and tries to protect them. And see how they are up there? They look pretty protected, don't they? Well, that's how Jesus protects you and me. He gathers us in, just like a hen does, like she protects her little chicks, and he protects all of you, all the little children of God, just like that hen. So what we're going to do for our prayer today, we're going to really stretch it even a little bit more. We're going to bow our heads like the little chicks. You ready? And my arms are not long enough, so you guys have to bow your heads and pretend like you're chicks. Remember back when you were young. So, ready? I'm going to spread my arms out, and we're going to pray. Okay, you ready? Here we go. Dear God, thank you for your Son, Jesus. Like a mother hen, he stretches out his arms. And protects us from all dangers. So when we're afraid, no matter what happens to us, he is there, loving us. And all God's people said, Amen. Okay, my little chicks, go back. They're kind of flying like chickens, you know? Kind of lifting out their little bit. Dear friends, grace and peace from God and the Lord Jesus, who loves us like a mother. I want you to keep that image now in your mind. So I won't have it up there the whole time. But I want you to go out today and this week, and whenever you think of, hear the word of Jesus, I want you to imagine a mother hen. Because as Jesus is once again tested by the Pharisees, by these so-called church authorities, he reminds all those who will listen that he loves us and protects us like a mother hen. Now, it doesn't mean things won't befall us. What he protects us from is the ultimate evil of death. What he protects us from is from those wages of sin. What he protects us from sometimes is even our own selves. Like a mother hen, he gathers us in. He loves us no matter what. He loves us through the great and the not so great things. He loves us even through death itself, loving us enough, like a mother hen, to sacrifice, to pay that ultimate price. Like when we think of those who rescue others, that he does it once and for all for everyone. So like a mother hen, when the fox gathers around, he protects us in this life all the way through to the next life. That's the image I want you to have as you go out as a Christian this week. The image of who you are. So no matter how old and righteous we think we are, in the end, we are just children of God. We are like those little chicks. We need to remember this Jesus is the one who protects us. This is the Jesus who mothers us like a mother hen. And what better day to talk about that than St. Patrick's Day? It's a good day because St. Patrick was just another one of those children of God, like a little chick. You see, St. Patrick, around the 5th century, is a patron saint. He's national apostle of Ireland. We're all familiar with that. But we don't always think about it. He is credited with bringing Christianity to Ireland, and he was not the most likely person. He was like one of those little chicks. He needed Jesus' protection. He's said to be responsible, in part at least, for the Christianization of the Picts and the Anglo-Saxons. That's important because most of us here today gathered have some origin with those Anglo-Saxons. Now we think we know a lot about St. Patrick, but we really don't. He's known only for 2 very short works, the Confessio, his spiritual autobiography, and his letter, Corinicus. It's a denunciation of British mistreatment of Irish Christians. You see, he was born in Britain of a Roman family, but at age 16, he was taken by Irish slave raiders, and he went into slavery for 6 years. It was during that time, the lowest of times, Jesus, like a mother hen, gathered him into the faith. He became a Christian. When he finally escaped his captivity, after having a dream in which God sent him out to leave Ireland by going to the coast, he did indeed do just that, and there at the coastline he found sailors who took him back to Britain. He came near to starvation. His ordeal had not ended, and he suffered a second brief captivity before he was reunited with his family. All the while, Jesus, like a mother hen, was gathering around St. Patrick, despite what we would think was a terrible life up until this point. Imagine, as a teenager thrown into slavery, and then you escape, and then you go into starvation, and then you're caught captive again, and then finally you're released. It would be easy to no longer believe in this Jesus. It would be easy never to have even come to the faith in Jesus. But he does just that. Through it all, he comes to faith, and even when he has setbacks in his life, he remains in the faith. And all the while, Jesus, like a mother hen, surrounds him with his love. When he gets back to Ireland, he baptizes and confirms all who are willing. And he talks about in his confession that the love of God grew in me more and more, as did the faith. I prayed in the woods and on the mountain, even before dawn. He prays and prays morning and night. I felt no hurt from the snow or ice or rain. It was a few years after returning back to Ireland. And once again, Patrick saw a vision which prompted his studies for the priesthood. And he was ordained by St. Germanus the bishop, under whom he had studied for many years. And he himself was later ordained a bishop. And he takes the gospel to Ireland. That's the important part of the story, because the legends abound. All we know is basically what I've said so far. And that's the important part. He became a leader in the Christian church. He became a follower of Christ. So all the legends you hear, you have to kind of put aside. I know there's one, of course, they drove the snakes out of Ireland into the sea to their destruction. Patrick himself even wrote that he raised people from the dead. And of course, the one that you notice, and you'll see a lot this day, being St. Patrick's Day, is of course the legend of the shamrock, which has him explain the concept of the Holy Trinity. 3 persons in one God. So I guess unless you're going to try to take a 4-leaf clover and say that's truly lucky, I think you'd have to stretch it a bit to say that's from the 4 Gospels. It's really that 3-sided shamrock, that 3-sided clover. The legend has he used to talk to an unbeliever, showing him with this 3-leaf plant and stalk how God can be 3 in 1. And you can just about imagine, we're talking the 5th century. That's over a millennia ago. Of all the legends, that one seems to make most sense in the church. It seems to make most sense about St. Patrick, because he was passionate about his faith. And it's true. He embellished here and there. It's true, if you read about him, some of his writings are really hard to follow. But what was most important, that through it all, he believed. He believed in a God who sent Jesus, who then loved him and all like a mother hen. With that kind of faith, he was able to become a priest and then a bishop, and to share the same faith to people who suffered as much or even more than he did throughout his life. Now, it's tradition that this day to wear those shamrocks, the national flower of Ireland, in your lapel. But for those who do so and those who wear green today, I want to remind you what is most important about St. Patrick, because he is a saint of the church. As Peter and Paul and Luther, all those prophetic voices that we hear throughout the ages. He was a simple person, no different than you and me. He was a teenager, goes into slavery and finds faith in the midst of slavery. And then despite setbacks, captivity again and starvation, he still believes. Because in the end, what St. Patrick's Day is all about, it's not even about the wearing of the green. It's certainly not about green beer. It's certainly not about all the huge festivals and parades, as fun as they may be. What today is honestly about is one of God's least in the kingdom. Becoming a great leader, not by his own merits, but simply because he trusted in God, in this Jesus of Nazareth, who gathers us in, we stray chicks, with the fox of sin and evil and death ever present, but gathers us in like a mother hen and mothers us, loves us, protects us to the point that even death is no longer to be feared. So with that in mind, on this day, we can indeed say, Happy St. Patrick's Day for the children of God. Amen. We sing our song of the day, In the Cross of